I'm actually sitting here watching my son play a video game that is very challenging. You get killed in this thing, you're done, you got to start over. Of course, in life, when you die, that's it. That's the end of the story, and you move on to the afterlife for those out there that believe it. But if you were to sit there and play a game where everything was handed to you and given to you, where literally you just sit there while your point system goes up 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and you're not even pushing buttons or doing anything, then don't you think a game like that would get kind of boring? Not saying that life would be any better if some things didn't happen just so easily and so calmly, but anything that we do whenever we get entertainment, what is one of the things that we find interesting and fascinating when we read books? We read books about heroes. Well, in order for someone to be a hero, they have to deal with something evil or negative or bad. Whenever we watch a movie, why would we like someone like Bruce Willis from the movie Die Hard if we're not actually seeing him go through challenges? Yes, there's going to be pain. Yes, there's sometimes he's going to take a beating. But in the end, after it's all said and done, when we see him succeed and be able to win in the end, or be able to achieve and make the sacrifice needed in order to be what is referred to as a hero, the movie becomes a blockbuster. It's great. It's fantastic. Another thing I find interesting too is we blame God for the same thing that we do. We have the ability to reduce suffering. We have the ability, whenever we see children in other countries starving to death, there's a lot of us out there who are financially equipped to where we could go over and actually do something. It doesn't make sense to sit around all day and complain about how miserable life is when all people have to do is just simply have a heart and put out their hand and do something. And I think that is one of the reasons why there is suffering and pain in the world. Not everybody's going to be a hero. Not everybody's going to be a villain. Some people are going to die young. Some people are going to die seemingly for no reason. But whenever it comes from the perspective of a God, God isn't in a type of position like us where he's going to suffer at the loss of some human being. If you die and you have followed him and believed him, then within the very second that you have passed, you're with God. Even within life, you're with God. So when you die, it's as if there's been no transition, as where we see death as a permanent state. We see it as, okay, my mom or dad or my brother or sister or my friend passed, and we think about those years that passed, and we are constricted by time. Is where God is always with us, even if we don't perceive it or not, and then when the death comes, it's as if we just simply walk through a door and we're there. Does God understand suffering? Can he possibly understand suffering because of time? Sure he can. That's one of the interesting things about the Bible when we read it. God has the ability to put himself in a position where he can suffer, where he can hurt, where he can experience what death is in the same type of way that we can. So he can comprehend it, he can understand it, and I do believe that he appreciates our suffering and pain. But at the same time, his perspective of death and suffering itself, of course, is different.